What's up guys, Houndish here, and today I've got some Destiny 2 news stuff to talk about, as well as a couple of other things to round up. We're going to talk about Festival of the Lost, some hidden factions in Destiny 2's API, as well as some of the DLC content and parity with all of the different platforms for Destiny 2, a couple of things about the PC version, and an interesting new Sparrow trailer, so let's get into it. Of course, a few days back, Bungie did their live stream reveal for Seasons in Destiny 2, and we learned about the Dawning event coming up soon, and that left the question, will we see Festival of the Lost this year? Of course, Bungie hadn't actually said anything about the event returning, so there was a lot of speculation and stuff like that. Deej, however, confirmed that Festival of the Lost will not be a thing inside of Destiny 2, at least this year. So someone asked, will there be a Festival of the Lost this year? And Deej said, no sir, we may see it again someday, but Season 1 has been about launch and ritual activation. The first event for Destiny 2 is the Dawning. So there we have it, plain and simple. No Festival of the Lost inside of Destiny 2's launch period at least. And I think quite a few of us kind of saw this coming, you know, with very little kind of communication from Bungie about it. And I'm certainly disappointed that there isn't another event for us to look forward to, you know, right now, immediately. I think Festival of the Lost is definitely something that they can do again and improve on. I've heard a lot of people say, you know, it's trash, it just shouldn't be in the game. I kind of go with more of a perspective of, well, I would like to see it in the game and I would like to see it improved as opposed to, you know, just ditched because it's not good. Of course, it's only ever really been about cosmetic stuff, so it turns a lot of players off. We know inside of the Dawning in particular, which will be the launch of Season 2 in Destiny, there will be some kind of cosmetic stuff with armor, ornaments and things like that, but also we're going to be seeing weapons re-rolled and new weapons introduced. And I think that's definitely the kind of stuff we need to see inside of these events and seasons, and they've really only skimmed the surface of what we're going to see inside of this event. Considering it comes alongside DLC, we should expect a lot of new weapons, new content, and a lot of big changes in the game, which all of us are asking for right now. Something interesting to point out is that inside of the database there are 3 factions which are actually hidden and disabled, and they do have the description, keep it secret, keep it safe. These are for the items that are kind of classified inside of the game, but interestingly the factions themselves are the first 3 indexed factions. So when we have Dead Orbit, New Monarchy, you know, Vanguard, Crucible, all of those actually are listed after these other factions in the API, which is interesting. So it's possible that these are future factions, you know, possible SRL standing and other kind of events that aren't currently available. I mentioned the other day that Eva Levante also is in the database as a vendor, but of course, as we learned with the Prison of Elders rumor, you know, some of this stuff is left over from Destiny 1. So really we'll have to wait and see. A lot of people have also mentioned how they didn't directly kind of talk about Sparrow racing when they mentioned the Dawning, and I think that's interesting, but honestly they're probably just holding off announcing that for the moment. There are numerous references to SRL which I've spoken about before. There's also some very interesting data mine dialogue that spoke about kind of flight simulation, which I mentioned in another video, which I will link in the description below if you want to check that stuff out. So I think there will be some kind of game mode associated with SRL coming inside of the Dawning. Also, Bungie launched a new kind of Sparrow trailer promo thing, which I'll play at the end. It's not directly linked to SRL, but I think it definitely suggests that Bungie have stuff in store. Something here that I really briefly wanted to point out is about the Last Hope archetype of sidearm. Obviously, there's a lot of conversation about these. Some people think they're, you know, way too strong. Other people feel like they are kind of representative of the kind of time to kill we should have in the game. Whichever way you look at it, I think Last Hope is a very, very strong weapon, but there's something interesting that could suggest why this weapon feels so good. It actually displays a rate of fire of 415 rounds if you look at the tooltip on the weapon, but if you compare it to 540 round per minute pulse weapons, so Lincoln Green for example, obviously these are the fastest firing pulse rifles in the game, but you'll notice that the Last Hope actually fires at the exact same speed. And obviously this isn't archetype based because RPM or rounds per minute is bound by time and not archetype or anything like that. So essentially one of 2 things is happening. Either the weapon is firing at the correct rate of fire but displays the wrong stat for the weapon, or the correct stat is displayed but the weapon is actually firing faster than it should be. It's not entirely clear which is the case, but of course with it firing at 540 rounds versus 415, it becomes quite a lot more powerful, and perhaps that wasn't entirely intentional. I'll leave the rest of the analysis and opinions to people who are more technical than me, but I'll definitely be curious to hear what you guys think in the comment section. This wasn't me kind of pointing the weapon out saying that it needs to be nerfed or anything like that. When I say broken, I mean literally there is something displayed wrong on this weapon, and I'll be curious to hear what you guys think down below. Something else I wanted to talk about here is about the kind of content schedule for Destiny 2 across all of the different platforms, because of course the PC is joining us a little bit later. So in an interview in the UK Telegraph, some of the PC devs kind of spoke about the game, and they asked, will events in Destiny 2 be identical and be on the same schedule between PC and console? And one of the devs said, obviously we're launching at a different timeline than the console, so when we first launch, we're going to have roughly a week or so for trials and the raid, just to give people an equal chance to level up, so it's not a race to grind and get ready for those things. But then, after that, everything will wind up, and we plan to launch all of our content day and date on all of our platforms. And David Shaw on Twitter added that he's happy to say all DLC will release at the same time for all platforms, so if you're one of the players moving over to PC or joining us on the PC platform, every piece of content once the launch has actually happened will occur at the same time, so you don't have to worry about any kind of delays, any exclusives interfering or anything like that, which is obviously good. Something else I'll pick out from here which sparked conversation in the PC beta is about the kind of controller and the aim assist for the PC version, and in the interview they asked, would you be looking at changing the aim assist on PC if player feedback calls for it to be improved, lessened or otherwise changed? And David Shaw said, we heard the feedback on that and we're definitely listening and we'll continue to listen going forward, but right now we are planning to ship the controller similar to how it was in the beta. We think our controls on the controller are pretty good and people seem to like them, and we think that the PC players should have the ability to play that way if that's their choice. So there we go guys, that is going to sum up this video. One thing I wanted to point out, you can save 10% on a pre-order of Destiny 2 at Games Planet using the code Houndish. I will leave all the links in the description below, so if you've yet to pre-order for PC, you can save yourself a good few quid doing that. And lastly, I wanted to leave you with a little trailer. I'm not entirely sure what it's for, but it's a Destiny 2 kind of Sparrow trailer. It was posted on PlayStation Japan, and it shows off some real sparrows that they actually created and kind of used those kind of water jet ski type things, which is pretty cool. So I'll let you guys check that out. But if you have enjoyed the video, a like is appreciated below. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit subscribe to see a lot more Destiny 2 content. But for now, have an awesome day.
Dude, I'm killing it.
Yeah, send it. Oh, Superman!
Nailed it. How are we gonna go faster?
Whoa, is that Destiny 2?
Oh, yeah.
Try doing it in real life. Did that just happen? For the puppies? For the puppies.